I want to bring in Congresswoman Karen Bass. Congresswoman, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you think the Republican motivation is for delaying Chuck Hagel's nomination?
Well, I think that Senator McClain was perfectly clear when he said that they're still mad over the way Senator Hagel, when he was in the Senate, gave testimony and grilled and was very negative toward President Bush. So I think that they're very clear. This is a vendetta. This is a holdover from the past. And I think it's making the United States look very bad. I mean, what are our allies around the world thinking about us right now?
Well, I think there are a couple of points here about what the potential impact of this might be, and we were just talking about one of them, that you have big cuts that have to come, and the defense secretary has to be on top of that. You also have a situation where Chuck Hagel, if he's confirmed, you wonder how beat up he's going to be, what kind of working relationship he will have with Republicans. Tell me what your concerns are about this delay.
Well, again, I think we have so many dangers that we're facing around the world right now, and there's so many expectations for our international leadership, and what signal is this sending to the world? And I do think that, we're several months past the election at this point in time. I'm really worried about the signal that this is sending to the country. Are they ever going to get over it? The election is done. We need to move on. We do have very critical things that we're facing, like the sequester.
Well, let me ask you, if I can, because the sequester is the other big story of the day. And I'm wondering, is this a case again of Congress not doing anything until you're up against a wall, or is just nothing going to get done?
Well, I do think it's a case of the Republican leadership in the House not doing anything. I mean, you know how often we're in session. Essentially, they seem as though they have decided that they are just going to let us go over the cliff again. This time the cliff will be the sequester, and there doesn't seem to be any movement on their part.
Well, let me read you, if I can, Congresswoman, what Senator John Thune wrote. He did an op-ed for Politico today. It reads in part, quote, "When Democrats are prepared to confront reality, Republicans stand ready to work with the president and congressional Democrats on spending reforms." And I know you've heard the Republicans say this over and over and over again. Washington has a spending problem. Democrats need to be willing to make cuts. What do you say to that?
You know what? Well, what I say is that, first of all, I'm in my second term now. For the 2 years that I have been here, all we have done is cut. The first time revenue was on the table was on January 2nd, and the cuts have already been very devastating. I have to tell you that this morning I watched a commercial that is airing in the East Coast, and it was advertising home heating assistance, and essentially saying that if you can't afford home heating oil in this winter, that you can get a grant from Cisco. So now seniors and poor folks have to rely on the government of Venezuela to provide home heating assistance, because the cuts to home heating have been so devastating. There have been cuts to health care. There have been cuts to education. You have states that are just beginning to rally right now. The economy is picking up in California. Things are getting a little better. And now moving forward irresponsibly like this to March is going to set states back. And so when they talk about being realistic, I don't know what they're referring to. Democrats have put up with nothing but cuts for the last 2 years.
Congresswoman Karen Bass, it's always good to have you on the program. Thank you.